I didn't need to find Saddam. My goal was not to find Saddam Hussein. It just wasn't. My goal was that when I was 80 years old, and when I have grandchildren, and those grandchildren come to me and say, Grandpa, were you ever at war? I need to be able to say yes, and I gave it everything I had. I come from a very athletic family. I was adopted, so I didn't get any of those athletic genes. When you get to that point in junior high or kids start growing and supposed to be athletic, I was on the bench. So it was a lot of frustration, but I think it was the first time in my life where I realized I'm not gonna get on the field unless I figure out how to solve this problem of not being a great athlete. I didn't exactly know how to do it, but I knew that just staying the normal course just wasn't gonna work. When I was 19 years old, I went to the town that I was born in and I tracked down my biological mother. And people said it couldn't be done. And I always tell people, you know, that's the first high value target I tracked down. So I thought I was gonna stay there 4 days having to do it. And it took me 8 hours. And I kind of recruited the librarian and we found some documents, some medical records and started looking through yearbooks. And it took 8 hours. And I went and met the family. It wasn't like I was going there to find my mom. I have a mom, but I just didn't like the fact that they said you couldn't do it. I had a job in 2003 to track down Saddam, track down high value targets. They could not see it. They truly in their heart did not believe that we could track him down. I tracked down someone before. I went and found my biological mother. And they said it couldn't be done. I know people are like, that's funny that you make that connection. The CIA ridiculed me. They said I was full of it and that we've been through every single house. And to me, it was like, that's awesome. And when Saddam was captured, they said, you got lucky. I mean, right place at the right time. Since 2003, when I began my very first interrogations, I've conducted 2,700 interrogations of prisoners from 25 different countries. I break 65% of the prisoners that I've interrogated. Well, I can't tell somebody you have to have perseverance. What you have to be able to do is say, wait a second, how do you gain perseverance? The only way you're gonna gain perseverance is you have to understand what you're doing wrong, and to understand what you're doing wrong, you have to analyze the problem and go, here's the issue, which creates hope, and the hope is what gives you perseverance. You can't just tell someone to do it. You gotta be able to give them a path. Top 3 moments of my life that don't have anything to do with my faith. Finding Saddam. My 17-year-old son started wrestling in the 9th grade and he was 1-21 and he didn't quit and he kept getting better and he kept getting better and now he's the captain of the team and made state. My growing up, I became best friends with this girl and I could not get her to like me. I always wondered, I'm like, man, that's my biggest regret. I know that's the greatest person I've ever met in my life, and it took me 20 years, and her becoming my wife is definitely the #1 accomplishment. I don't know how you get any better if you don't fail at what you're doing. I've met so many people who have so much more talent than I've ever had. They either didn't believe they could be the best, it never crossed their mind, but mostly they couldn't handle the failures along the way. I mean, my entire 6 months, they say, what was your best day in Iraq? And I tell them I never had a good day in Iraq. Because I left the day we found Saddam. And I said, the only good day I had was the day after I left. Because that's not my goal. My goal was when I was 80.